A person's strengths are often their biggest weaknesses. And so that also means that their weaknesses can be their strengths. I am weak, but I don't accept that. I don't accept that I am what I am and that is what I'm doomed to be. I'm always fighting, I'm struggling, and I'm scrapping, and I'm kicking and clawing at those weaknesses to change them, to stop them.
There are times in life when conflicts and trouble arise. And how we deal with these conflicts and how we deal with these troubles reveals more about our character than we want to admit. Because what you are when the pressure is on is what you really are.
Let me tell you something, the stuff you've been through, don't pay it any attention. It is just a sign that the baby is coming. You're on the verge of birthing. You're about to give birth. I don't care whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. There's something down inside of you that's still kicking inside of you that wants to get out and it wants to live.
Some days I win. Some days I don't. But each and every day I get back up and I move forward with my fist clenched toward the struggle. And I fight with everything I've got to overcome those weaknesses and those shortfalls and those flaws as I strive to be just a little bit better today than I was yesterday.
As long as there's people, there's going to be conflict, disagreements, contention, dissension. Family reunions would be really nice if you didn't have to deal with your family. But everywhere there's people, there's going to be strife. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be trouble because that's just the way it is.
Sometimes you can try so hard at something. Sometimes you can be so prepared, still fail. And with every time you fail, it's painful. I've often said a man's character is not judged after he celebrates a victory but by what he does when his back is against the wall.
You've got to be knocked down and then be willing to continue. You're going to be laughed at, and you're going to be ridiculed. You're going to face self-doubt. You're going to be exhausted at times. You're going to face all sorts of challenges if you want to get to your Mount Everest. Everything that happens to you is for your growth. It's the times of suffering that make you great.
So no matter how great the setback, how severe the failure, you never give up.
Get up, change your position. And listen, if you can't stand up, look up. Just change your position. Start writing as though you're already up. Start planning as though you're already up. Start acting as though you're already up. Get up in your believing. Get up in your hopes. Get up in your aspirations.
It's necessary you take responsibility for it, that you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you realize that's a part of the program. And here's something you've got to resolve. Say this to yourself every day. See, as long as you're breathing, you got a shot at your dream. That's the way I resolve. Say this, please. It's not over until I win. You've got that right.
Start doing everything that you can, because remember, the areas of your focus are the areas of your reward, and the areas of your neglect are the areas of your pain.
when change is involved, somehow we get into this thing where we're kind of waiting for somebody else to do it. We're waiting on someone else to arrive. I mean, we've got to stop that. We've got to stop waiting for someone to change before you change. You got to stop waiting for somebody to help you change.
You've got to weigh before you pay. Whether you're going to spend heavy time or light time, you've just got to weigh. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you can get trapped into spending heavyweight time with lightweight people. Now, it's okay to have casual friends as long as you give them casual time, not serious time. Spend major time with major influence and minor time with minor influence. So maybe all you need to do to change some of the influences in your life is not to eliminate them, but merely limit them. Take a look at your priorities and your values. We have so little time at our disposal. Wouldn't it make sense to invest it wisely?
If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like? Well, you know, there are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time, and there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were, if they spoke their being forward. And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that.
You must determine whether the situation and the people call for disassociation or limited association. But remember, if it isn't taking you where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, now is the time to fix it.
And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be who knows how much more efficient, 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. You have no idea how efficient people get. Well, and if we all got our act together collectively and stopped making things worse, because that's another thing people do all the time, if people stop really, really trying just to make things worse, we have no idea how much better they would get just because of that.
Come on, you got to keep your courage up. Your bank account might be going down, but keep your courage up. Your grades might have gone down last semester, but if you keep your courage up, you can get your grades back up. Even if everything else goes down, keep up your courage. If you got to borrow some money, if you got to take a little while, if you got to take a time out, just keep going forward and it will happen.
I want you to get some determination. I want you to put your shoulders back. I want you to put your feet down. I want you to understand that you can't choose what happens to you in life, but you always get to choose how you respond to what happens to you in life. I'm telling you, life is 10% what happens. It's really 90% how you react. You need to predetermine now your reactions, because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Storms will come.
We have to learn patience. Patience is a virtue. Patience is the ability to wait with the right attitude. Because you're going to wait one way or another. The question is, will you be patient while you wait? And will you choose the right spirit in all seasons?
You never give up. You pick yourself up. You brush yourself off. You push forward. You move on. You adapt. You overcome. That is what I believe.
Some people are not willing enough to believe in themselves. But what are you going to do? How will you make a difference? How will you stand?
There is no perfect time to start. You got to start now with changing your life. We're all being tested in life.
You were born to do something great with your life. You're supposed to do something special, and you're gonna. I can promise you that you have all the potential in the world within you.
Strength, leadership, power, authority, guidance, patience are God's gift to us. As men, hundreds of people give up on their goals on a daily basis and It's usually because they realized quickly after starting their journeys that they're alone. Nobody's waking them up in the morning. Nobody's pushing them when they start to make excuses. And nobody's patting them on the back when they hit a milestone. Stop relying on outside sources of inspiration, motivation.
And how would you fight these battles that we face each and every day of our lives? They will continue to come, and you will not win every battle. And the battles that you face will help you to get stronger. Because even if you lose a battle and you're still breathing and you're still walking and you're still able to make moves, then you still have enough fight left to carry on. And on this journey,
And guess what? This is one test you can't cheat on. We all have our own test. Some of us are obese. Some of us are depressed. Some of us are insecure. In the military, we had a big old rucksack on the back. Had batteries, water, extra gear. Your extra gear is the shit you're dealing with in life. And the only way to overcome it is for you and you alone to face it. You have to do your best work when you're least motivated. So those days you don't want to do it, guess what you gotta do? Stay hard.
What would you tell your 20-year-old self? In other words, if you could go back in time and you could talk to your 20-year-old self, what advice would you give to that 20-year-old jock?
While you are carrying on all of the things, remember the circumstances that you had to face. Remember the losses. Remember the victories. And understand that everything that you went through in your life, it had to be. It had to be this way. You may question it, but it had to be this way. You may not even understand it, but it had to be this way. Even with the mistakes that you've made in your life, yet it had to be this way. But the mistakes that you have made, you've learned, you've grown.
And you know, honestly, I think to myself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can't go back in time. I can't change what I did when I was 20 years old. What I'm actually thinking to myself is, what do you tell yourself today to get you on the path?
Someone asked me one time, what's your biggest fear? My biggest fear is that 300-pound man. Never knowing I can be who I am today. A lot of us are wasteful. But we're wasteful of who we are in life. And get all you can out of yourself. Stay hard.
It's too hard. Life isn't fair.
Support can get you there. Put your goddamn head down and take charge here in life. True desire in the heart that it's that you have whatever it is you want to do, the thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money. The desire that it's that's God's proof to you. Set before and already to vindicate that. It's yours. You can't get it because you want it. If you put in the work, they can't deny you. If you put in the work, they can't stop. Be great, pursue your own version of happiness. Life.
And I know the rest of the world is probably telling you constantly to be average, to be ordinary. You know, there's different haters you have in your life. There's people who put you in your box. There's people who overlook you, that make you feel invisible. And it's important that you hear from me that that's not who you are. And by the way, you're not even who you've already been in your life. Your past does not equal your future. Your present does not equal your future. And I just want to remind you officially that you can do something great with your life and that you're destined to do something great with your life and that you were born for a reason. So important that you know that you hear that from me today and that you begin to believe it about yourself. Because if you don't believe that about yourself, there's no chance it's going to happen. You can't achieve something in your life that you don't believe strongly, certainly, that you can achieve. And I know that I find many of you today, some of you are listening to this today, you've got momentum in your life and things are going well and you're looking for a key or you want to hear about a mistake you might make that you can miss because I warned you about it. And I'm going to give you all those things, you know, that on every program. But I know there's many of you that arrive here today, you're just not in the groove.
Well, I think the one thing that discipline definitely does help you with is it helps you get things done. And when you get things done, when you actually do things, you have more success. If you have more success, and sometimes a big part of success is just doing it. Yeah. That's like 90% of it is just showing up. Get there and start working. Like, you're not going to feel perfect every day. If I only worked out when I felt good, because there's a lot of days I don't want to do it. It's pretty much the same with everybody that actually gets good at something. There's got to be those days you push through, and they're probably going to be more numerous than the days you don't. And so the benefit of discipline in my eyes has always been that through discipline, I get things done.
Always offers you a second chance. You know what it's called tomorrow for far too long. You've been holding yourself back. This is time for you. To walk with purpose, it's time for you. To walk into your gift. It's time for you to live your best life. It's wrapped in your capacity, your ability to believe in a dream, even if nobody believes in you.
Things aren't going great. Maybe you're in a down cycle in your life. Maybe there's some letdowns and some hurts that are happening right now. And maybe a little bit of, a little melancholy, a little anxiety, a little fear, maybe all the way to some depression. And I just want to be that person who reminds you that you can do something special and that you're going to, and that you have everything you need within you right now to make your life great, and you can turn it around at any time you decide to. You know, what you allow is what's going to continue in your life. I put out a post about this several weeks ago. It's hard to accept this, but what's happening in our lives, we're allowing it to happen. And to some extent, we almost believe we deserve it because we produce in our life what we really believe we're worth, what we really believe we deserve. And it's hard to accept that because it seems coincidental, that the wrong person entered our life, or there was a business setback, or our car broke down, or, our company went out of business, or whatever it might be. One of your clients just quit and changed their mind. And it seems coincidental, but you really truly are getting out of your life what you believe you're worth.
To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did. Every time you go to better yourself, somebody hits you with a line like, why? If you want to do that, you need to find another social circle. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. I figure at least this way I'll see what I'm going to hit. We did not come this far to just break down and lose now.
I always say that I'm like the most lazy, disciplined person I know because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I always do. One of the big problems is sitting down and doing the work. Mm-hmm. And you got to, and
Pressfield talks about that in the most concise and beautiful way. And he labels it like an enemy. He calls it resistance, and that you have to sit down, you have to overcome resistance, and that the pro goes to work. And it doesn't matter if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you have kids, it doesn't matter what, you're a pro and you go to work. And that just, it puts it in your head that this is what I do. This is what, and you have pride in that. And then when you are in front of that keyboard and you look down the count, I put 1,000 words in, you're doing the work. Yeah. And out of that work, gems blossom. Yeah. Little things, but you might have a day where you just write nothing but dog shit.
Year after year after year, I'm international. Year after year after year, I'm putting in that work, and I wake up one day, and what number am I as a speaker? Am I number 10 in the world? Am I number 5 in the world? Just take a guess what number you think I am. Number 1 in the world.
You don't try to think of a million. You just do this $10 thing you got over and over and over. You're sitting on money, man. That's how you get rich.
This anger means I have a message here, a signal. Signals I need to change either my perception or my procedure. Maybe you don't need to change your perception. Maybe they really are rejecting you deliberately. Maybe the procedure is not only how you communicate, but how you're behaving. Maybe you need to look and say, I'm not treating this person in a very loving way. No wonder they're giving me this feedback. I need to change me. Are you following me so far?
If you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. You are, if you're on a job 8 to 5, they say, of Americans go to jobs that you're unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want, it's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. You're miserable, you hate to go there, you're depressed just thinking about it. You're saying that thank God it's Friday. Song every week. If that's what it is, you owe it to yourself to start strategically working. To change directions, see but you know what most people will do. Most people will resist change.
I passed Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar. Nobody paid me to do this. I just got up and gave 120%. And when you give 120, that's what happened. You become #1 in the world. I want to ask you a question, seriously. What percentage are you giving? So we're going to start here. You like, I'm giving 120, bro. I don't got no more to give to Panthers. I gave everything I got. I have no more to give. Like, I really put 120 into this. Do me a favor, don't lie, because we're not giving out no awards for this. So raise your hand if you're giving 120. Like, I ain't got no more to give, E. Good. I see you. I see you, E. I'm giving 100, E. I know I'm just doing at least what Coach want me to do. I'm doing everything Coach want me to do.
Quit trying to figure out how to make $1 million. Take something, a $10 idea, and just do it, and keep praying about it. Keep asking God to show you the next level. Keep asking God for strength when it looked like you ain't gonna make it. When I was homeless, it looked like I wasn't gonna make it. I kept praying about it, kept asking God to come get me. I kept leaning on my mama. Man, she said, he didn't bring you this far to leave you. I kept hearing her say that. You know, I could have gave up a long time ago, but I never gave up. I just kept fighting. God is gonna come through and do what he say he gonna do, but you got to give him something to work with. If you do that, God will change your whole life. I dare you to try. I dare you to take your gift.
Good, hands down. I'm giving about 90%, E, I'm gonna be real. I'm giving about 90%. Let me see your hand. Yep, I feel you, I see you, yep. E, I'm talented, bro, for real. I know I look sweet out there, but I'm probably giving about 80% of my effort. Let me see your hands. I'm giving about 80%, let me see your hand. 70%, let me see your hand. All right, let's go back, because I saw some people didn't raise their hand, so I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So let's go back again. Like, maybe you didn't hear what I said. I said, like, I need you for you, not for me. I need you for you to admit where you are, because once we go back out, my goal is to come here and take you to that next level. So when I came after 212 and I came back, some stuff happened after the next year and the next year. And that's what we're hoping to happen again. I feel like Coach don't play with me. He bring me in when he know he got a good group, and they just need to make a couple adjustments and they go to the Super Bowl. So let's start all over again. You giving 120, bro, flat out. You ain't got no more to give. Let me see your hand. You ain't got no more to give. I see you. Yeah.
And do it over and over and over. Watch what he do, because your gift will make room for you and put you in the presence of great men. Don't say nothing about your passion or your education. Your gift. If you do that, God will change your life. For just your life, your kids, your job, your house, your food, your clothes, your money, your car, your husband, your boyfriend. And then immediately after that, you'll have a better day. And then watch, he start giving you more stuff. Whatever you made $10,000 doing, I need you to do it 10 more times. What you tripping for? If you do it 10 more times, you got $100,000. Now, you might have to hire some people to make this happen. You got to figure that part out. But all you got to do is do what you did for $10. Once you make $100,000, if you just do it 10 more times.
Most people will fight change as if change would be worse than what they're experiencing. See, they know this, they're familiar with this. Most people will not challenge the unknown. They won't just step out there, see they will. See, there are certain things that's got to be in place. They got to see it all together. And life isn't like that. That's not how you grow. So as you look at your life, you're saying, I'm not getting what I want. As you begin to look toward the future, begin to know that whatever it takes for you to create that, you've got that in you. You've got genius in you. You've got goodness in you.
So we're always getting the message. We're identifying the signal. We're appreciating the message and knowing the message is telling us we either need to change our perception or our procedure. The way we're communicating, the way we're behaving.
See, I believe the most powerful force in the world is to be consistent with the thoughts, ideas, concepts, and beliefs you hold to be true about yourself. That is what identity is. Identity is the governor on every single area of your life. It literally sets the temperature for all of the conditions of your life. This says we know what we are, but not what we may be.
Get going. It's a major key. You got to get going. You got to take action. The disciplines is the miracle process. And here's how to get the miracle of your future going as far as disciplines are concerned. Number one, do what you can. You might go home and set a whole new pace for yourself, and we call it cleaning up neglect. Should walk around the block, could walk around the block for your good health. Don't walk around the block. See, you're on the wrong track.
Should read, could read, don't read, on the wrong track. Should call, could call, don't call, on the wrong track. Could change, should change, don't change. You're on the wrong track. Letters you haven't written, conversations you haven't had with your family, somebody you should sit down with when you get back home, get that job done. Don't let neglect destroy your days, destroy your life, and destroy your future. Go back and do what you can.
You've got creativeness in you if you decide to take the initiative to change the current quality of your life. I say to you that you will find that the universe is on your side, that life is on your side. Now will it be turbulent? Yes. Would it be easy? No, no. Will you have some opposition? Yes. Will I make a lot of mistakes? Yes. Will I get hurt? Yes. Yes, see, a lot of people won't try anything different in life because they don't want to get hurt.
Getting what you really want and being able to attract it into your life. What we have to look at is basically the obstacles that we have conditioned ourselves. You notice I say that we have conditioned ourselves, because I've never believed that we need to be putting the responsibility on someone else. If you're conditioned, it's because you have allowed yourself to become that. And if we are conditioned, if we've conditioned ourselves to believe certain kinds of things, and one of the things that we kind of believe and hang on to and live with is this whole idea that all of the things that happened to me in my past are what are keeping me from doing what I'd like to do today.
Life is meant to be lived joyously. It truly is. If you're doing and living a life that's not joyous and happy, something is wrong and you need to make a change.
And if you'll do what you can, then life will give you some extraordinary things to do. We all pity the man, right? Wants to stride out of his house, go straighten out the corporation, has not yet straightened out his garage. You got to take care of the small disciplines before life will give you a chance to handle the more complicated disciplines. Good phrase to take home. All disciplines affect each other. In fact, here's a good philosophical phrase. If you hadn't thought of it before, here it is. Everything affects everything else. It's so easy to be casual and say, well, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. I'm telling you, everything matters. Of course, some things matter more than others, but there isn't anything that doesn't matter. Let us not neglect. Do not neglect the smallest of disciplines, and build on that foundation, and you can have everything you could possibly want.
Let me tell you something. It's too much pain to duck. Pain is everywhere. You can hide under here. It will come. Where you are, it's everywhere. Viktor Frankl calls it unavoidable. Suffering. You can't duck it, but most people spend their life not wanting to deal with the pain of rejection, the pain of defeat, the pain of being disappointed, the pain of losing, the pain of failure, the pain of being criticized, the pain of not being. Lack the pain, the pain that's called life. Life is full of pain. It's everywhere. Guess what? There's no gain without pain.
I look at myself every day, and I always come back to the conclusion, I can't be like everybody else.
Every time you break, and in every way that you break, while it's a chance, it's definitely a chance for you to give up and for you to just to fall apart.
Man, I remember I was stripped of everything I owned, from apartments, the cars, everything I came in contact with. I mean, I was stripped of. But all through them storms, them trials and them tribulations, I began to soar like an eagle. See?
Your results will turn those who ignored you into fame. Let your results speak louder than your voice. Can you hide yourself in the library? Can you hide yourself in the gym? Can you? Hide yourself in the boardroom and plan and do what's required behind the scenes. In order to manifest the moment, there are many people out there in the world that don't have the capabilities that have to carry on the good fight.
I don't want to be like everybody else. I never said that I was the best, but I'm going to be the best of myself. I'm going to be good within myself. I'm going to learn within myself. I'm going to seek everything that I need within myself. And I may not have everyone celebrating with me. Everybody's not going to clap for me. But I have to have the ability to celebrate for myself. I don't need to be a part of a crowd to feel good about who I am inside. You don't need to be a part of a crowd
to know who you are inside. Because everything that everybody else is doing doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for you.
All the hotels and plane rides, all of the audiences I spoke to, all of the money that I missed out on because I didn't know that I didn't know, and I thought I knew. I was a big fish in a small pond. I can't tell you, if you don't get anything else, you have to look at your relationships and you've got to ask yourself the question, what is this relationship doing to me? And I mean in every area of your life. When the doctor looked at me and said, you have cancer. Cancer is the most feared word in 7 different languages. One of the first things I had to do, I found out who had cancer at some point in time or was living with cancer and conquered it. I surrounded myself with people who had done what I wanted to do, who were winning at the game. See, it's very important, every area of your life. If you want to improve your health, start hanging around healthy people. They did a 30-year study.
You don't need to be like everybody else, but you need to be the best of yourself. Be able to feel good about who you are, what you are, and what you are ultimately made of. Because without that, how far are you willing to go? Don't sacrifice yourself to please others. Don't give all of your energy to people who really don't care about you. Make sure you understand the significance and how you go about your life. Why do you feel that you need to be a part of a group or some kind of an organization to feel important? Do you feel that it's necessary for you to stand out because you're a part of a group?
And said that the reason that most people are obese, it's a mind virus. Listen to what they said. A mind virus is communicated mind to mind. That if you have a friend that's fat or you marry somebody that's obese, you have a 41% to up to 161% of becoming obese yourself. Even if they live in another state. Whoa, why? Because birds of a feather flock together. Never forget, high school teacher Mr. Leroy Washington said, Mr. Brown, if you run around with 9 broke people, I guarantee you, you'll become number 10. Whoa. Think about that. Part of your mindset development, not only listening, not only reading, but you have got to look at your relationships, upgrade your relationships, and continue to evaluate them and make sure they're an asset to you and not a liability. My son John Leslie is a motivational speaker. He has a saying, who should you count on and who should you count out?
There are things that are happening around us every day. The things that are happening to us right now happens for a reason. What you are going through right now, someone else is going through it in a different manner. But we always ask the question, why me? Why is this happening to me? Everybody wants destiny, everybody wants manifestation.
But there's also opportunity. There's opportunity to get stronger and get smarter and get faster and get tougher and get more stable and get more resilient and get better. When you break, you have the opportunity to show the world, the whole world, what you are really made of. So if you break, if you break.
The eagle is one of the only birds that when a storm is coming, he doesn't fly away, but he flies into the storm. And he uses the pressures of the storm to soar with using very little energy to soar above the storm to rise to an atmosphere of peace and security. Don't you want to soar? How would you use the storm to rise, to elevate? How would you use the storm to soar above everybody that told you you couldn't do what you're doing? And what drives you?
Everybody wants fulfillment. Everybody wants the next level and relationship and a higher quality of living, but nobody wants to eliminate. Distractions, nobody wants to disappear. For 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and then eliminate all distractions. Get into a place where you can focus on just you. What if you could just shut out every distraction? What if you could just shut out the world for just a season and focus on you? Winning requires focus.
The fight isn't over. In fact, if you break, the fight is just beginning. As you rise above what you were, and as you take the form of who you are supposed to be, you will see that in the very act of standing up, in the very act of fighting on, you will become and you will remain unbroken.
I'm about doing permanent fixes so then you can move on. Be proud of the small steps that you take along the journeys. Be proud of the fact that you're moving forward and not moving back.
Because it don't matter how hard you go, when you're on a journey to go get what's yours, you will be knocked down. And I hope it's the faith that gives you the unwavering conviction, the courage, the dedication, what you sacrificing. Because being physically committed to the process without being emotionally attached to the outcomes is flying into the storm and asking yourself, what can I extract from this storm to soar, to rise to an atmosphere of peace and security?
I want you to know that you matter. Yep, I said you, not anybody else, but you. You matter. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to know what you do matters. I want you to understand that you matter because what you do could change somebody's life and the trajectory of what they can overcome. I want you to know you matter because you've got people that are depending on you right now. You may have some kids. You may have some younger siblings. You may have mom, dad, grandma. There's somebody out there that's depending on you. So I want you to know that you matter. You have the ability, and you have the tools, and the power, and all of the amazing characteristics that are on the inside of you, and ready to see you walking on your purpose and who you were called to be, and what you were called to do. Because you and I are the aspirin for somebody's headache. How long are you going to let them suffer? So, I want you to know that you matter, and I'm depending on you because you matter. And nobody can tell you what you can't overcome if they've never been through it. I want you to trust the process. I want you to understand all it takes is to believe in yourself and take action right now. Because you can't dream all day with no action. So, I'm challenging you, staying with 10 toes down because you may feel like nobody supports you, because they told you that it never happens. I need you to stay 10 toes down because you have the ability to do it. You can turn your dreams into reality. You have the ability to leave a legacy. So, what am I telling you? I'm telling you, even though you're facing adversity right now, even though there's something that's bothering you in this moment, but I'm telling you that you matter and that I love you. Because the things that you are going through right now, the adversity that you're facing right now, the mountain that you need to move can only be moved by you. You were created for greatness, and you can achieve it. You will have to become someone you've never been before. You want to go somewhere you've never gone. You got to do something you've never done. You've got to say something you've never said. You've got to go to a place in you that you've never, ever been. You get to redesign. You are your Michelangelo. You are your greatest sculptor. and you get to recarve, and you get to up-level as much as you can. You are not sentenced to this life. You chose it. Never forget that you have the power to choose. You get to choose as much as you want. You have to design it in any way you choose. You are not sentenced to your future. You have an opportunity to your future. You are the designer of your life and the author of your story. What do you want, and how do you want it? And if it doesn't make you afraid, then you ain't playing big enough. Your knees are supposed to knock a little bit. Your teeth are supposed to chatter a little bit. There's supposed to be at least 2 butterflies in your stomach, at least, because if not, you're playing inside your comfort zone. And we mistake the fact that we're supposed to be comfortable 24/7. But let me tell you something. Comfortable is the equivalent to complacent. You have to choose inconvenience every day to make a difference on the planet and leave your fingerprint on it. So I just talk to the game changers who are willing to confront any part of you that's not speaking to your amazing future. Ask yourself, what's my dream? I want to challenge you to play in the biggest field you've ever played in. I want to challenge the fear that might be inside of you and to redesign and reprogram it. You look at it long enough, you will be with it intimately enough, and it has to dissipate. You are the designer of your destiny. You are the author of your life. No one can write your financial story. No one can write your emotional and spiritual story, but only you. The pen and paper has always been in your hand, and ask yourself, what's my dream? What are you willing to do that you've never done before? What are you willing to say that you've never said before? Are you willing to stand at the edge of your own greatness? Are you willing to look at your fears? Feel the breeze of possibility, not knowing if you will fly or fall. Are you willing to not quite know what's there, but that something is there is greater than you? Are you willing to say, my life has to make a huge difference, but it's going to cost you more time than you thought you'd have? It's going to cost you more money that you thought you would invest. It's going to cost you some friends who couldn't make the entire journey with you. It's going to cost you that sense of, oh my God, I got to die to the old me to allow the new me to be born to my future.